SCG, round 6, Richmond and the West Coast Eagles. The West Coast going to the right of screen. No wind advantage. And down the centre corridor go the Eagles. Laidley gives it over to Worsfold. His kick out to the centre wing position. Lee's racing for the ball. McQueen is there as well and carts it over in front of Barrich. And we'll see a boundary throw, and now it's going to be a free kick. It's going to go Richmond's way to McQueen.
Well, I could be corrected, but I don't think Naish is out there for Richmond. I stand to be corrected, but Honeybun's definitely out there. Named first emergency.
Well, your mail might have been correct, Don. You said he didn't train on Thursday night. There's Campbell. Quick possession. And in fact, he wasn't quick enough. Waitman looking for the free kick. Richmond fans thinking that it should have been there. Chance for Knights. Under Lambert. This could be dangerous. Lewis has just about got him. Not too much support. In fact, no support. Watters. A quick hand pass. Good tackle there by Naish. There he is. Watters. And the mark has been taken by Peos at left centre wing.
Peos is behind the wing. He kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Nearly a mark there to Richmond. If it's not a mark, it's a free kick certainly being paid to Keys. And Keys is at half-back for the Tigers. A lovely long kick by that player towards half-forward. No mark taken. Lamb, well tackled by Hogg. Going nowhere, ball close to the boundary line, and it goes over just in front of Naish, who is in the 18. So we're yet to pick a player. You spot.
Well, the other one
David
was Maxfield, but I've seen Maxfield out there, so.
Well, we'll have a quick look in the opening minutes to see if we can pick who is out of the Richmond side. Here's a chance for Knights. Strong at the football. Lewis, Laidley, Lamb caught. Ball, says the crowd. Lewis again, chased by Honeybun. A late inclusion in the Richmond side, and the mark taken at half-back for the Eagles by Hynes, but in chips Lambert. Lambert gets the ball over to Maxfield. The Tigers are up to half-forward for the third time. No mark taken. Ball at the back, tidied up by Jakovic. He kicks it long towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Langdon.
Karl Langdon slips over. Hasn't been too much rain in Melbourne. A little bit forecast for this afternoon. Might make things slippery. Knocked down by Turner, still outside 50 in the West Coast Eagles right half forward flank. Knocked the ball over the boundary line in front of the members' stand. Carted over by David Hynes ultimately.
I'll nominate Brendan Gale not out there.
Well, that sounds a bit more logical. A big guy coming in for another tall player who may have missed out.
And speaking of talls, there he is, Honeybun. Got the tap down, Maxfield couldn't do much with it. Chance for Turnbull. Keys gives the hand pass away quickly. Chance for Campbell. His kick up towards left half-forward flank for the Tigers. The ball dribbling over the boundary line in front of Glenn Jakovic. And once again a boundary throw-in, this time left half-forward for Richmond. As Tim Watson said, no goal advantage to either end. And we hope those showers stay away for the remainder of today.
Now, Jackson was holding. Now, Madden was pinged for exactly the same thing yesterday out at St Kilda, Princes Park, Carlton St Kilda.
Chris Lewis, straight down the ground. Beautiful kick. Good 55 metres in that. Oh, that was courage. Could have almost got a free kick down there, McQueen. But the umpire says no.
I agree with you. It was nearly a good enough effort to be paid the mark.
And getting up slowly is Bruce Lennon. Let's take a look at that again. Maybe not. In the sand, he didn't get too far, like some of my golf shots. And speaking of shots, David Hynes having a shot for goal, and it's going to be the Tigers into attack as the ball is taken away by Lees.
Out towards right half forward, Jakovic. Jackson. Doesn't look as though there's much love lost between those two players. And of course, Jackson having been recruited by Richmond from the West Coast. Now they're doing the ruck work. Jackson does pretty well. Strength, Hogg. Kicks it nicely in towards centre half forward off the non-preferred side. Waitman flies high, couldn't mark.
Oh,
Campbell slips over. Trip.
It's a busy player, Campbell.
Well, Kemp wasn't impressed with the decision. Campbell has the football inside 50. Would be half a chance to get the distance. Goes for the short pass. Pretty good too. Well done, Jackson.
He's got a lot of ability, this man. A lot of ability.
Well, he's just that little bit closer, which certainly brings the distance well within reach now, but the angle
is the problem, isn't it?
Is just maybe a fraction tighter. Magnificent conditions for footy. brilliant sunshine and not much breeze, and a reasonably good surface at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Jackson kicks for goal and kicks inaccurately. So the first score for Richmond is a behind to their big centre half forward. West Coast a goal, Richmond are behind.
5 points the difference. Crowd still building up here at the MCG. Ball straight down the sandy corridor, and the mark taken by Brennan. Brennan from left half back. Also going straight for home. Lennon punches the ball to ground. Laidley farms out a pretty good hand pass and picked up by the former target Trent Nichols. His shot at goal was likewise off target and also through for only one behind to make the difference an even goal.
Good handball by Laidley. He didn't go for the first option, he went for the longer one. And that was Trent Nichols. Good play, Laidley.
Turner kicks in, played a good game last week at Football Park. In fact, I thought he was just about Richmond's best player. Menegova. Last week he started on the forward line and was moved to defence. He played fairly well at both ends of the ground. Shocking kick by Knights, one of the more skilled players in Richmond's lineup, but the ball slewing off the side of the boot. Free kick to the West Coast on right centre wing. And Karl Langdon, I think, is going to be the player. Or is it going to be Kemp? It's going to be Kemp to take it. Dean Kemp. And we'll put the Eagles in front at Carrara. Happy to see the match tied in the last kick of the night. Marking contest at right half forward. No one can bring it down. Honeybun goes to Waitman. He'll give it back to Honeybun, who kicks from a standing start.
Very well done in the finish by Honeybun to get Richmond away from half back. But it's only momentarily as Lamb kicks it back towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Punched away by the strong Richmond defence. Lewis on Waitman was all right. Umpire let play go. Keys free. And Campbell once again to centre half forward. Hogg. Richmond fans love to see him in a goal-kicking position. Hogg gets it back. Came from Lennon. Hogg's kick in short. Mainwaring still with the football underneath. Umpire allowing play to go on between centre half forward and full forward for Richmond. Now the ball may come out. Maxfield, Knights, good play. Knights is caught, gets the handball away.
Oh, very lucky.
He's going to take a free kick, is he?
But it was still good play. The way he found a little bit of space, a little bit of daylight between players. He took the bit between the teeth. There wouldn't have been much daylight between those players, but there's a short one on if he gets around quickly. Now watch this. This is great play. There he is. Gets through there. Copped that high one just there before Mainwaring tackled him.
Well, Knights, he's kicking from just inside 50. Actually, when he let fly, he kicked it outside 50. Great kick.
Turnbull up high. Neither ruckman can get an effective tap out. Campbell claims it, and it's going to be a ball up. Everybody in. Now they're in the 60s. Honeybun and Turnbull. Kemp, a fresh air shot. Ball shuffled out Richmond's way. Mainwaring from midfield, usually constructive with his disposals, down towards full forward.
Good mark.
That's a pretty good mark to Peos it is, who's taken it inside 50. And like Knights, he'll probably kick from round about the line.
Well, he kicked some tremendous long goals over in Western Australia, this man, so he can kick long distances.
Incidentally, he is the leading goal kicker for the West Coast this year. That's how bad they're going. 8 goals, 3 coming into this game. He's kicked for the season. Paul Peos. David Hynes second on the goal-kicking ladder for West Coast, 7-5.
Peos right on 50, kicks at the scoreboard goal. Goal umpire hasn't moved. He's got the accuracy, full points. So Peos putting the Eagles in front again. They lead 2-1 to 1-1.
Well, he kicked 2-2 last week, Paul Peos, playing on that half-forward line. One of those players that's more or less in and out, was in the inaugural West Coast side, or squad. A beautiful kick nonetheless, 50 metres out, and that ball just doesn't deviate off the straight line.
And what great distance. It went through well over the players' heads in the goal square.
Good 60-metre kick. Nick Malthouse would be happy with the start. 13 plays 7. Turnbull loses that one out, but it goes to Lewis, who lost it just as quickly. Watters tried to shuffle it out. Eagles free kick for an attempted trip. And it's going to Scott Watters at midfield. Kicks high, doesn't get too much distance with the kick. Peos again the target, but it's knocked away from him. Mainwaring, who got the ball to Peos for the previous goal. On a lead, Sumic. Markle free kick is going Richmond's way. It will be taken by Lennon. Bruce Lennon at halfback.
Good play. Courage in the back line there. Keys takes the hand pass. Kicks it straight away to Lewis nearly. Campbell and Free. Free through his legs and then off the ground. Not too bad. Doesn't go all that far though. Mainwaring. He is the very vital player for the Eagles. Away to Peos. He kicks it to the front of the square. No mark taken. Barrich, a little push. And the umpire in a great position to pick that up. So the free kick will go to Richmond. And it'll be taken back there by Tony Free. Free kicks it back towards centre half back. No mark taken. It goes through all the players. Nearly reaches half forward. Good bump. Got rid of Hogg. Kemp. It's still trundled further forward for Richmond, but back there is Jakovic. He kicks off the left foot out towards centre wing. Laidley, very competitive Dean Laidley, and gets the ball away to Brennan. Brennan's kick up towards full forward. Out in front is Peos again. Taps it over his head, but the players can't quite control it out there. Very difficult. Awkward bouncing ball goes over for a throw-in. Karl Langdon, who's could be classified now as one of the more experienced players for the West Coast. Playing across the half-forward line is Honeybun. And we'd be fairly well convinced now that Gale is the player that has not taken his place in the Richmond side. And Honeybun, who was named as an emergency, is out there playing in the ruck for the Tigers. The score, West Coast to 2-1, Richmond 1-1. And we've got about 12 or 13 minutes left in the first quarter.
Race for the ball. Langdon will look for a hand pass. He's got it back to Lamb, who kicks to Sumic, he did well. Made something out of nothing there. Gets onto his preferred foot pretty quickly. And that's a beautiful snap for full points. Turnbull out of the centre, but it's going to be an Eagles free kick again, and Turnbull will be the recipient. Straight down the sandy centre corridor. Or Sumic was the flyer. No mark taken. The Eagles would like to see him back in full form. And I think he's getting a little bit of confidence going for marks like that.
I don't think he's fully fit, Peter.
Well, you've got to be fit to go for those, don't you, Don?
No, he really hasn't had a good preparation. He had an interrupted pre-season, as a few Eagles have had.
McQueen. It's cannoned into by Sumic. Turner does likewise. That is soccer the ball off the ground. Kemp making good pace. Hooks the ball across his body. Plenty of Richmond players are there. And the mark is taken by Campbell. He gives it away. Lennon. Not much of him. Moves well. Hogg got a fist to the ball. Tried to knock it to the back of the pack. Succeeded in doing that. Lambert overruns it. A push in the back. Ian Robertson might be suggesting. But Laidley up towards right half forward flank, and the mark is taken by Hynes, who kicked the first goal of the day.
No, just that it was a critical possession, Peter, in the centre of the middle.
Yeah.
Richmond needed to get it, and just a little bit of unfortunate ball handling. It goes to the Eagles, and now they've got a shot for goal.
Hynes, who was pretty close in when he got his first goal. He kicked from just inside 50 here, 45 metres out. Ball will land in the square. No one can take the mark. Knights. Ball out of bounds in front of Turner, and so we will see a boundary throw.
I think it's a free kick back there to Knights. It was a what would you say, a fairly ordinary attempt to stop Matthew Knights.
A soft free kick.
Knights
well, it's the second one. He won a lot of Brownlow medal votes last year, Matthew Knights, from memory. And obviously just plays the game, gets on with it, and the umpires perhaps noticing that sort of play. So the Eagles leading 3-1. Richmond are 1-1. Boundary throw in at right half forward for the Eagles. Langdon, good handball. Mainwaring can't get through, but the hand passes away to Nichols. Nichols snapshot. Ooh, it wasn't a bad one, but he just missed to the left-hand side. And he kicks his second behind for the day. Trent Nichols, busy in the early part of the game.
And he'd like to turn it on too, wouldn't he? Playing against his old club.
Well, one wonders what happens there, Don. Is it money that forces a player away?
Well,
like
I think
Trent
in
Nichols?
Richmond's cage they had a few players like Trent Nichols that size.
Great mark to Keys. Certainly mark of the day so far. Richmond can do with more of that. Naish's kick up towards half forward, and Jackson has taken the grab.
The ability of Jackson.
I think you're pretty impressed with him.
Well, I am impressed with his ability, but really he can't apply it all the time. That's his problem.
Well, the kick sort of lets himself down. It dribbles through for a score. Nobody touched it. It tricked everybody. It was a real mongrel off the boot, wasn't it? And so one behind going to Stephen Jackson.
That was a kind remark about the kick, Peter.
His second lead being made by Glenn Jakovich. Marking contest off the edge of the square. A knock on by Hogg. Lamb well taken by Lambert. Opportunity down there for Edwards to get the hand pass out. Naish very close to the boundary line. The Eagles will try and tie it up or take it over, and they've succeeded in doing the latter, and so a boundary throw in right half forward flank for the Tigers, about 60 metres from their goal. Jackson, Lambert, Naish. Free kick, high tackle, or is it going the Eagles' way? What did he play there? A throw?
Deemed a throw, I'd say.
Well, that's the free kick of the moment, isn't it? The throw. Laidley. Honeybun marking on centre wing for Richmond.
Actually did that very well, David Honeybun, getting back in front of the key forwards who are leading for the players down the ground. He kicks it back towards the wing position. Jakovich in front. Here's Watters for the West Coast. He kicks it back towards the wing. Gatherers by Hynes. Tries to get the hand pass away. A real desperate effort there for Richmond by Free. And he's been penalised for not moving the ball on. And by gee, I reckon that's a very difficult thing for the umpires to determine. Lewis kicks to centre half forward. No mark taken. Punch back in towards the centre. Lamb, it's very hard in there. Maxfield, Waitman, away to Lambert. In turn to Jackson, skillfully. He's had it for half an hour, but then kicked it towards full forward. No mark taken there. Attempted kick by Edwards. May bounce through. No. Away to the left. And it's through for maybe behind. It wasn't Edwards, it was Breman. And just missed to the left-hand side. 3-2 to 1-3. West Coast lead by 11 points.
And Todd Breman, of course, another player keen to do well, playing against his old club. So there's a few here this afternoon that have got a point or points to prove. Here's a chance for Maxfield, 35 metres out with a snapshot. And these misses may prove costly by the Tigers in the wash-up. He's kicked also one behind, his first score of the day.
He had two options. One was Breman, the other was Edwards on his right side. Maybe everything happened a little too quickly for Stuart Maxfield on that occasion, but had he have got it away, those two were in better position, no one around, and they could have steadied and probably kicked a goal.
Turnbull making a lead. 10 points the difference at the MCG in the first quarter. A little bit of jostling. Kemp claims it from behind. He can't take that because it's Campbell's in front.
Good player, this young fella.
He's not bad, is he? He's come up through the under-19s.
Well, I saw him last week. Waitman got into good position, couldn't take the mark. Menegola, snapshot. Again off target. Will they race it through? They won't. Edwards attempted tackle, unsuccessful, and Jakovich comes away with the kick to half-back, and there he is again. They played last week at Football Park. Pretty good game. That wasn't a good kick. Worsfold. Watters will kick up towards the centre wing position. Mainwaring in front of Knights. Couldn't take it. Campbell again with another possession. He tried for the possession and angled the shepherd. The boundary line was too close, wasn't it?
He's been averaging about 25 possessions a game, young Campbell. That's a good effort from a youngster.
Plenty of West Coast there. Nichols from Lamb. Well, Keys missed what he certainly should have taken. Down goes Hynes, and Richmond will hope here to tie the ball up, which they do inside 50, and it will be a bounce about 40 metres out from the West Coast goal. West Coast leading by 10 points.
Centre half forward for West Coast. Not a bad bounce. The ball comes out towards Knights. Caught by Lewis. Well tackled and will be penalised.
Perfect tackle.
Well, it's trying to get past the tackler, and if he pulls you in, you're gone, aren't you, Don?
See how he's trapped that right arm. Nichols just could not get it to the ball.
So Lewis has it 50 metres from goal, about where Peos kicked the goal a little earlier. Pretty ordinary kick across the square. Mark taken it by Hynes. No, it's a free kick. A push out. And it's going to Keys back there for Richmond.
At least the umpires are consistent now, aren't they, in manhandling the player whilst the ball in flight.
Short kick, not too bad. Turner marks in the back pocket. Turner for Richmond. Kicks it wide towards the wing. High over the top was Turnbull. Laidley onto it, but boundary throw-in will take place just forward of the wing. It's about 2 to 2.5 kicks from the West Coast goal. They lead 3-2 to 1-4.
Turnbull taps down, free. Is anything but. And it will be another ball up. I don't think Tony Frew too happy with that. A little bit of displeasure there at the umpire. Honeybun taps down. It's a West Coast Eagles ball. Laidley. And another whistle. This might also be a Richmond free kick. It will be. Lennon. Bruce Lennon from inside his own defensive 50-metre line. Kick to the outer side. Hogg late on the scene, punches it down. Lambert a quick hand pass. Back it comes to Campbell. Kick number 7. Menegola in the front position. Was looking for a free kick, didn't get one. Watters does the tidying up work for the Eagles. Kicks up towards centre field. Knocked down by Maxfield. Charging through solidly was Knights. Back it comes to Keys. Former Collingwood player. Watters in front. Almost held by Waitman. The umpire calls play on. Lamb does it nicely and easily in the end. Terry Keys should take that mark. Lambert. Tigers depend a lot on him. Hogg couldn't take it. Now goes off the ground. Hits Laidley right in the mush. Lambert. Hogg will stand his ground.
Good vision by Lambert.
Great player, isn't he?
Well, Peter, I think it's experience that helps there.
Hogg going in short, and that's okay. Tony Free chipping into space there in front of Chris Mainwaring to take the mark.
Metropolis, he's come on for West Coast, so we didn't pick up the fellow that had dropped out for West Coast. Barrage came off, and Metropolis on.
Anyway, it's with Free about 48 metres out, and his shot at goal was also off target. And Tony Free registering only one behind. So Richmond very inaccurate on the scoreboard. 1 goal 5 to 3 goals 2.
I think if Metropolis is in the 20, we're looking for a West Coast player that hasn't made his appearance, and it may be Craig Turley. So that'd be a tremendous loss. Kick in, taken by Honeybun. And this is a mark taken by Naish. In the clear. Short pass, good. Great lead. And if anyone can kick the distance, this bloke can. Todd Breman.
He's a magnificent kick for goal, this fellow. I watched him in a game before. Subiaco were playing, I think it was West Perth. And boy, did he kick some long goals that day before he joined the West Coast.
Look at this kick distance-wise and accuracy. Great ball.
Todd Breman, camp out at the centre with a short kick. Touched and play on was the call from the umpire. Mainwaring. Good tackle. Ball spills free. In goes Maxfield. Maxfield's kick into space at midfield once more. Jackson. Well, good balk by the big fellow. Shows a good bit of toe.
Travel.
Oh, rubbish free kick. If he's covered 8 metres, I'll go he.
That's unbelievable. I've seen players run twice as far as that.
Which is not a bad bump by Worsfold on Hogg.
I can't run. Still flabbergasted. Anyway, ball's on the West Coast Eagles half-forward line. Lewis.
Oh, good play.
Off the ground. Nichols turns on a threepenny bit, shoots at goal, and he has likewise missed. And the Tiger fans, as you can hear, not happy with that decision. That's Trent Nichols third behind. 3-3 to 2-5. Well, the signal from the umpire was at travel, which means he's run too far, and Jackson only took about 6 paces. So he must have very big strides. That's all I can suggest. Turner. Well, good mark.
Big
Hynes.
kick by Turner. A big kick.
Hynes at left centre wing. Oh, Sumic on a very fast lead has taken the mark. He's already kicked one, Peter Sumic.
That's where Turner is in trouble, against a fast leading player. You can see there Turner not in screen. He's really got to start in front. When he has done that, he's a better player. He's not over and down with speed. You've got to play in front, Scott.
Peter Sumich for his second goal. Pretty well directly in front, right on 50. And he has hooked it to the left, which is probably a little bit tautological, but just the same, it's gone through for only one behind. So Sumich's tally so far, Robbo, is 1 goal 1.
I'm just wondering how a left footer can hook it to the left, Peter. Probably a slice, one of your slices on the golf course. Kick in, goes out towards Turner. He can't mark. Chance for Richmond to get clear through Lambert. Busy little player, Craig Lambert. Handball, no. He gave it away. Langdon may rebound it here. Lamb's kick towards half forward. No mark taken by Hynes, but he recovers very quickly. The pass is on again. Sumich, you run into an open goal. Unselfishly, he's given it too far. He's handballed at point.
Well, the idea was right, wasn't it? Idea right, execution poor. And he'll cop the Bronx cheers as he's doing, but still, team-oriented play, you can't be critical.
3-5 plays 2-5, and Turner will kick it back into play for Richmond. Decides to go pretty well straight up the ground. It's a wobbly punt kick to centre half back, gathered by Turnbull. Out the back, Waterman, a quick kick in towards the half-forward area, and a mark is taken back there by McQueen for the Tigers. So Richmond holding up pretty well so far. They trail by just 1 goal. Ball taken by Maxfield. Shepherd is very, very good at the back. May have been free, was it? Nearly Watters on Wakeman. Wakeman working hard. Nichols underneath. Taps it on. Wakeman still the football at left half forward for Richmond. Watters, his kick goes back towards the wing. Maxfield, handball. Oh, you're in all sorts of trouble. Menegola and Wakeman, ball out of bounds between the wing and left half forward for the Tigers.
You wouldn't have wanted that hand pass, would you?
Well, it's very difficult. The Eagles working overtime to keep pressure on Richmond.
It's a boundary throw in. Members stand side. Lambert and Kemp. Kemp had it and then dropped it like a hot spud. Campbell, Lewis.
Well, 19 players on the field there for half a second.
Langdon coming off the ground. He was glaring at the coach's box as that ball was kicked out.
I noticed that. Cromwell has come off.
Cromwell has come on.
Honeybun's tapped down. Kemp. That was a little bit of a give there to Turnbull, but there's the siren. Pretty interesting first quarter at the MCG. And the West Coast leading by exactly 1 goal in favour of West Coast. 3-5 to 2-5 after a fairly even first quarter. West Coast going to the left in the second term. Laidley off the ground. Chance for Turnbull. A quick kick out of the pack. Almost marked by McQueen. Probably not the required distance anyway. He kicks down the sandy centre field area. Jackson, a good one-hander. A few useful things so far in this match. And that's a strong mark taken by Breman. And for him, well within kicking distance. He kicked a beautiful goal in the first quarter, which was Richmond's second. And let's look at that again.
Finding a lot of space, Breman. Quick off the mark.
Gee, Jackson did it arrogantly at centre forward, didn't he, Don?
Did it well.
Eh?
Todd Breman, well within kicking distance.
Oh, kick.
Oh, hit the post. So his tally so far is 1 goal 2.
Just mucked up his perfect record at that of Todd Breman's.
2-6 to 3-5.
His first point for the season.
5 points the difference.
Second.
Hogg, a little quick kick. Waterman from a standing start and a spiral punt kick that travels about 55 metres. Good effort. McQueen to Knights to Maxfield. Maxfield from left half back flank. Jeff Hogg's on his own. Should be able to mark and does.
Should have played on a bit quicker than that.
Worsfold got to the mark though pretty quickly, didn't he? And uncontested.
But see what happens, Peter. It breaks down pretty quickly. Gives the big guy the chance to get back.
Jakovic kicks to the members stand side, looking for Trent Nichols, and he's found him out there against his old club. No one running at him. Kicks very poorly up towards the edge of the square. Lewis a good tap down to the captain, and Worsfold's kick inside 50. The bounce, is it going to be thicker? It is for the West Coast, and it's picked up by Matthew Knights.
Yeah, not a bad little shepherd by Lennon to give Knights the chance to give it away to Menegola, and Menegola on centre wing. Kicks towards half forward. Good mark. Excellent mark, Jackson. Waitman. Oh, down he goes. Free. Waitman gets up, but he's a little ordinary. Naish may bounce through. No.
No vision on Naish in that time because they're the man in screen 27. Maxfield was in perfect position, but wait, there we go. Perfectly fair. He just ran into Lewis. It wasn't a case of Lewis running into Waitman.
At 32 years of age, Dale Waitman would have felt that one, I feel. It punched away, back towards half-back. Watters, sneaky little handball to Lamb. Creates the chance for Lamb to run and then kick it directly towards goal. Up towards centre-half forward. Oh, it's dropped by everyone. Hynes picks it up and it looks pretty good. It's a goal. So second.
Out of the centre by Trent Nichols to half forward. Loose ball, still to be won. Sumich is there. 1-on-2 situation. McQueen, he does well. Free kick, the advantage played for the Tigers. There was a trip, says the umpire. Kick up towards midfield. Laidley, a juggle.
Jackson holding. Why isn't he penalised?
Just about thrown out the Maxfield. Umpire didn't see that. Looked a very quick hand pass, or slick, call it what you will. Now a chance for Breman this time. Excellent smother. The ball rebounds to Lewis. And he'll give it over to Laidley. And they'll come away through Jakovic. Back to Laidley. Not much of him. Runs well. Hynes, strong hands. Playing well, very mobile, big fellow. Not mobile enough there. Mobile enough. That's a steal, but not even
too high.
Is it?
That's the only explanation.
So Hynes has the free kick, and Richmond fans at the moment not really too impressed. Good punch away by McQueen to get the ball away from Paul Peos.
Peter, back at full forward for Richmond. You mentioned a good smother. It was Worsfold, and it was brilliant. And they don't go down in the stats very often, do they?
Smothers, no.
Smothers do.
Didn't know they did. Lambert. The sort of things that Tony Shaw does a lot of that he doesn't really get enough recognition for. It's John Worsfold. We're at centre wing on the outer side in front of the new Great Southern Stand, which keeps the southerly winds off the playing surface here. Campbell from Turnbull. Mainwaring and Knights. It's over the boundary line again once more for a throw-in.
My apologies, Ian. It is Shepherds that go down, but not the Smothers.
But can't they turn a play around very quickly, a good smother?
They do go. The coaches actually do take Smothers too in their stats.
Turnbull and Edwards did the ruck battle. Menegola trying to pick the ball up, looking for someone to give the hand pass to. He does ultimately. Ball kicked down, I think it was from Lees. Hogg was the player for whom it was intended. Richmond's tackling is pretty good at the moment, but they're not getting it past the half-forward line often enough. And Waterman, little toe-poke type kick. Oh, courage there. Langdon ran straight at the ball. It's a West Coast ball too. Mainwaring wears one. Edwards kicks from a standing start, back up towards midfield. Laidley and Waitman. He seems to have recovered from that heavy knock. Good tackle applied by Naish. The ball comes down in the Eagles' direction at the half-forward. And Mainwaring just can't make ground. It beats him over the boundary line, 65 metres from goal.
And Peos going off the ground for West Coast, and Waterman coming on in his place, going on the half-forward line. That is Waterman.
Barrett coming on.
Mainwaring, the most experienced of the Eagles players, with Dwayne Lamb over 100 games. Now Richmond get the ball back towards half-forward. Nearly a mark there to Turnbull. Attempted kick off the ground by Campbell. Turnbull in there again, trying to make a little bit of space. Campbell does it well. Menegola back to Campbell. A good block, good body block there by Waterman, and he fought after the football and dragged it in when the Tigers looked just a little threatening. They trail on the scoreboard, Richmond 2-6 to 4-5, but in general field play it's been quite even. Ruck contest. Turnbull tries to flip it to the back. Watters tagging Waitman, kicks it into the pocket. Keys drops another one. Lennon back there. Barrage. In goes Keys to try and make up for it, and he does. Kicks it back towards the wing. No mark taken. Ball at the back. Menegola and Waterman. Waterman takes it over for a boundary throw in. Centre wing on the outer side. Ruckman, Turnbull and Edwards, both youngsters. Turnbull tries to get the punch towards his goal. Then a little kick off the ground's not bad. Knights gets back for Richmond. Forced to kick quickly. Gathers good ground. Lamb. Oh, it hit him on the head. But he recovers. Handball away. Now Richmond through Jackson. Always looks as though he's got an hour to spare. Away to Hogg. Hogg into an open goal. Angle awkward. But kick is brilliant. Jeffrey Hogg.
Hogg, the Eagles will take the ball from midfield. No, they won't. Keys battling well. After, as Robbo said, dropping a couple of marks in the key defence post. Hogg late on the scene this time, and Brennan takes the mark. Farms it off well. Worsfold kicks out towards Mainwaring, who's always busy, and so is this fellow, Scott Watters. Plenty of run in those barrel-like legs. Up towards half-forward, thumped away by Turner. Free. Kicks it back straight to that same man, Mainwaring. Sumich on his own. No, Turner. He misjudged that, or...
No, I think it was a deliberate punch.
Well, that was strange. I thought he might have had the sun in his eyes for a moment, because he was on his own. No one was near him. Here it is again. He just propped. Got too far underneath it, perhaps. So we await the throw-in. And again, they lost sight of it. That was Lennon. Snapshot is there by Hynes. Up to the edge of the square. Turner, good bump. Mainwaring. Langdon nearly caught. And Lennon on the end of a hand pass to get the Tigers out of danger. To centre wing. There's a fight on behind play, and there's plenty of winning stuff there. Langdon, Turner, Waitman, Sumich. Oh, in goes Lees. That is a
Didn't try to disguise that too much. Play goes on at left half forward for Richmond. Menegola tries to force the ball forward, and it's over for a boundary throw-in. The boys are still into it in the back pocket for Richmond. Right forward pocket for the Eagles. Langdon, Lees, and the throw-in takes place at left half forward. Free kick being picked out of it. It's going to the Eagles to be taken by their big ruckman Turnbull, and maybe play settling down a little bit once again.
Emergency umpire was out, but I don't think he took any numbers, Robbo. At least the book wasn't out anyway, so that's the best indication we can have there. Lewis, long way out from goal, and again Sumich underneath it. Turner taking the safe mark this time. He'll transfer play straight up the centre of the ground, but a bad kick direction-wise. It's found Dwayne Lamb. He chips it in short, and the mark almost taken down there.
It's been paid.
By Metropolis.
Honeybun coming off, and Griffiths coming on for Richmond. Well disguised kick by Lamb.
Metropolis maybe too far out to score, or is he? Lennon has taken the mark inside the line just. Metropolis a late inclusion today. Both teams making changes. Marking contest on 50. Turnbull, a fresh air shot. Lambert did beautifully. McQueen, or Maxfield it was, who'll get it back from Knights. Tigers moving the ball well now. Naish. Oh, magnificent pass. Todd Breman hits him lace up on the chest.
Wow, was Naish moving at top speed on that occasion. He received it at top speed and let it go at top speed. Oh, classical play.
Gee, there was a great handball by Knights.
So Breman within kicking distance for him. He hit the post with his previous shot. The crowd likes that one. It's a goal.
Fantastic passage of play for their fourth goal. Eagles get the ball towards centre half forward. Here's a chance for Barrich. Barrich has kicked towards full forward. Oh, has that been paid? It has. McQueen got back.
Good effort.
Kept his eyes right on the ball.
Because Scott Turner fell over, and McQueen outnumbered 2-1 on that occasion.
Player on his own on the outer side of the ground is Keys. He marks at half back. Maxfield making position near the centre, but Keys kicks it wider still to the wing. Great effort by Free. Got rid of Lewis. It kicks it towards half forward. Bouncing ball a little awkward there for Djakovic, and he takes it over for a boundary throw-in. And Djakovic playing on Jackson. Jackson, from my memory, was number 27 for the Eagles last year, and Glenn Djakovic takes over that jumper this year. As Michael Malthouse, he'd be looking a little concerned. The Eagles have been struggling. Jackson takes it out of the ruck contest. Waterman now for the Eagles. Away to Lamb, and Lamb hard up against the boundary line. Kicks it in towards centre half forward, but a mark is taken by Lennon, and he looks a likely type for the Richmond side. Only a youngster, 19 or 20 years of age, coming from Sturt. The ball towards half forward for the Tigers. Lewis, little tap off the ground, not bad. Laidley under a lot of pressure, but he's as tough as nails, Dean Laidley. Kick off the ground by Kemp. Goes wider still. Mainwaring not too bad there. Worsfold gets his foot to the ball. Barrich a gather. Oh, tackle fierce by Maxfield. The free kick in the back against Maxfield. You can consider yourself maybe a little stiff. Barrich has the football.
Barrich, who started on the bench, now he has to play on. Barrich kicks to half forward. Target was Nichols, couldn't take it. Turnbull, the big fellow on hands and knees, tried to get it to Dean Kemp, couldn't do so. Nash charging through, held by Laidley. Still Nash on the bottom of the pack, trying to get the ball out. Little toe poke by Kemp gets it out, not to a teammate, but to Keys. A real up and under job. Marking contest on the boundary line, slapped away by Knights. It's out of bounds. And Tiger fans still hooting that tackle, which resulted in that Barrich free kick. That's history. The game continues with the throw-in. Richmond pretty competitive this afternoon. They were last week for 3.5 quarters against the Crows. Lambert, one of their key playmakers, to the edge of the square. His target was Waitman, couldn't find him. It's going to be an Eagles ball, picked up by Worsfold. Turner nearly takes the mark.
Yes, he's paid. Yes, he should be paid too.
Kick before coming from Mitchell White. Did well last week, as I said before. He's not doing a bad job today. 2-on-1 in favour of the Eagles, but it's not going to be their ball. Tony Free taking the hand pass on left centre wing. He's looking for Hogg. Ducks back, marks.
Gee, there was some good play by Jackson.
Jackson again.
Good body work.
Oh, but he just does it so coolly.
Yes, but there's a lack of consistency in his game. That's why the Eagles got rid of him. Well, if he could turn it on like this every week, not a matter of turning it on, playing like this every week, he'd be a terrific acquisition to any team.
Jeff Hogg for his second goal. He's a little bit further out than when he kicked his first, and that was on the run, at a similar position. Kick number 8 for Hogg. That looked good. It's his second.
7 points. 10 minutes left in the second term. Barrich, little kick off the ground. Free is caught with the ball. Runs free. Laidley.
Free kick.
And it'll go back to Tony Free by the look of it.
They've taken high.
Takes the free kick quickly for Richmond. Kicks to right half forward. Jackson trying to play for the front position. Punch back towards the centre wing where Nichols gathers for the Eagles. That's a better kick by Nichols. Nearly hit Lewis. Chance for Sumic. No, it's Metropolis into the left forward pocket. Good mark taken by Langdon.
It's a good kick too, wasn't it, by Metropolis? Spotting Langdon.
Yeah, Langdon, who kicks with the left foot, so it'll prove to be a little bit awkward for him. Kick is a great kick. It's a goal.
Well, that's the way you answer the hoots, Karl, on the scoreboard, and he did that well. That's his first goal. He's a vital player for the Eagles on that forward line. His enthusiasm and his endeavour. We'd like to see him do a little bit more as far as getting possessions are concerned, but he certainly does try and hold the ball in here. Terrific effort by Metropolis.
And Tony Free marking Chris Lewis has done a pretty good job, hasn't he? Lewis fairly quiet.
We haven't seen Lewis do much, but what he has done has been quality.
So back in the centre, Richmond force it towards half forward where Jackson tries to gather an awkward ball. Does pretty well in the finish. Knights away to Griffiths. Griffiths up towards full forward, but a good mark. Well judged, Waterman. And he plays on quickly. Player out wide on his owner's Worsfold.
Yeah, the skipper with a nice balk will get clear of Griffiths. From left half-back flank, a wobbly punt kick only travels about 40 metres. Mark almost down there to Richmond, not paid to Lennon. So it comes to Lambert ultimately. Oh, he was nearly tripped up. Kick out towards the wing position and the mark to Nash. He was under an injury cloud, according to Don Scott, but has taken his place in the side. And is that 50 metres? There's a ball. Langdon let one go after the bell too. And it will be taken ultimately by Campbell. Good young player. So Wayne Campbell looks for Jackson, who's making every post a winner so far today. Breman, has he marked? He has. Good lead.
Might have hurt himself a little bit after he crashed to ground.
Yes, it was a top effort because he had to stay in front of his opponent from behind, and there's also a guy coming back in front of him.
So there were two of them.
Now watch this on replay. He goes to ground there.
Ooh.
They do hurt.
Well, the two Eagles collided too, didn't they?
What's the betting on whether he'll kick it?
He kicked the distance.
Not the accuracy, Robbo.
It's not a good kick from him. He's usually very accurate, isn't he? Gone right across the face of goal. We kicked in.
It's either a mark or a free kick back there for the West Coast in the back pocket.
And no, it's not going to be Jakovic.
Waterman.
Waterman with a good 50-metre kick. Knights gets back quickly and gets a push in the back for his trouble. It's going to be an Eagles ball. Mainwaring. And there he is again, that young Lennon doing well. Over to Scott Turner. Turner from fullback. Terrible kick. Worsfold at midfield will put the Eagles deep into attack. His teammates say run, he does. And in the end, it was a shot at goal, but off target from the West Coast Eagles captain, and he registers only one behind. His first score of the day, 1 point.
Well, if you've got any minor criticism of Scott Turner, it probably is his kicking on the run.
It's not a huge one distance-wise either. Terry Keys has got the ball. I don't know whether he paid the mark or not. Perhaps he did. Maybe fortunate. Keys doesn't get too much distance with his kick either. Lees looks for the hand pass. Campbell underground to Hogg right on the boundary line. Will he trap it? Gets a little nudge in the back. Pretty obvious free kick.
Didn't have to be that fierce at the football, John Worsfold.
Hogg. Jackson. Having a great quarter, isn't he?
As easy as you like to, and it was pretty difficult.
Langdon coming off the ground. Peos on for West Coast.
Jackson too far out to score. Good 2 kicks to goal from there, but a poor kick, and some of Richmond's kicking today has let them down in that regard. Mainwaring. They crossed to Dean Laidley on the other half-back flank, and now the Eagles have got loose players because Peos has just come onto the ground. Didn't have a player within 10 or 15 metres of him, but that's a badly directed kick. He gets it to Griffiths and turn to Maxfield.
And Maxfield's kick directly towards goal. Marking contest back here. Chance for Breman. Kick is brilliantly smothered. Away goes Brennan for the Eagles. Kicks it back over the centre. Centre half forward. No mark taken. A very important possession here. And I think Richmond appreciated that and threw themselves onto the football in the form of young Edwards and held it in quite nicely. Between the centre and centre half forward for the West Coast. Ruck contest, ball goes to the back. Lennon perhaps nearly through that. Kemp caught, should be a ball up, and that's the way the umpire sees it at centre half forward for the Eagles. The score locked in, 5-6 apiece with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Hynes shepherded out of it. Peos can't get the handball away to a teammate. Lees chips in, kicks it wide where Naish leads in the race. Lovely little tap. Creates the chance for Lambert. Lambert kicks it into the pocket. Good lead. And what a wonderful kick to Breman.
Good talking too.
Only criticism, it's deep in the right forward pocket. Decides on a screw kick, Todd Breman. And it hits the behind post, or is it a mark to Jackson? Plays on, gives away ground. And the mark is taken by Lees. Poor checking by the Eagles.
Good play by Jackson. Great play. Lees shouldn't walk with his back to goal.
To say that Jackson was a rather laconic type of player would be an understatement.
I was thinking that myself. He seems to have plenty of time to do what he wants with the ball. He gives that impression anyway.
Lees, the kick just screws off the side of his boot and it's through for one behind. So maybe the Tigers could feel a bit disappointed in that foray up into the forward line, just resulting in one behind. There's Langdon on the interchange bench with their runner Robert Wiley. Yes, true. Brennan kicks in for the Eagles.
Good long kick, 2-on-1 in favour of the Eagles. There's no mark taken, but it's going to be a free kick. Soft to Mainwaring. He's had a pretty good second quarter. Punch away by Lees, not successful. He comes down with the football. No, he doesn't come down with the football. The umpire has paid the mark.
Yeah, I'd have a reasonable go at that and say he marked it.
Hynes. Sumic on a lead, and Marks, has he played that? Yes, he has.
I think Peter Sumic is the most surprised person at the ground.
So Sumic.
I agree with you, Don. I think he looks perhaps about 80%.
I'm just wondering whether he'll kick this. Normally he could. He brings it left to right. It's on his favourable side.
Goal here would put the Eagles back in front.
Any scoreboard.
Metropolis has marked in the goal square.
Frustrating when that happens. Frustrating if you're a backman. The fellow has the sit. Really, he shouldn't have got the run, Metropolis.
We saw this guy debut in Perth a couple of weeks ago against St Kilda, and he took 2 or 3 very, very good marks.
Couldn't miss this, and doesn't. It's a goal. It's left in the half, and Metropolis's first goal, putting the Eagles in front by 5 points. As we come back to the centre, Edwards taps down. The ball spills free. Keys, in the end, not a bad kick off the ground. White running at the ball, nearly took what would have been a pretty well judged mark. Watters looks for a quick hand pass. Good smother on White again. Waitman. Knights maybe too far out to score. Where's Breman? Can't take the mark. Menegola was at the back of the pack. Lambert applies a tackle and the ball spills free. Menegola onto his left foot. Snapshot is there. Richmond hit back. Todd Menegola picking Richmond 6-7 to 6-6.
Well, he's fortunate the ball spilled out after a lot of indecision and disputed play. Here's the ball coming up onto the forward line behind Menegola. You could say Lambert did well, but there he is spinning well, getting onto the left foot. Normally a right foot kick, Menegola. Some good work, won by Lambert.
Yes, a good effort by Craig Lambert. Now Richmond go forward again through Lees. His kick goes wide to right half forward. Gather by Lamb, tackle by Lambert. Forces the ball over the boundary line.
Second good tackle in a matter of seconds. Lambert, one up in the forward line, which resulted in a goal on that one to cause the ball to be thrown in again.
Boundary throw in right half forward for the Tigers. Taking the ball out of the air was Jakovic, and he handballs it straight over the boundary line. The Richmond fans screaming for a free kick, but it'll be a boundary throw in right on the players' interchange area. 6-7 to 6-6. Not a lot of goals scored, but an interesting tussle here at the MCG. Well done by Lennon to Naish. Naish's hook kick into the pocket. Breman tries to tap it behind, but it's Brennan for the Eagles. His hook kick close to the line, and it goes over on the full. So a free kick to Richmond, and they'll pump it back into the forward line. The Eagles under pressure. Kick by Campbell. In towards full forward, chipping in and taking the mark. No, it's not paid. Brennan could have nearly been paid. And Brennan expressing his disgust with the umpiring decision. And the umpire will call for a bounce about 40 metres from the Richmond goal. Tigers lead by a point close to half-time.
Yes, been a top game so far by Richmond. They've carried it right up to the more fancied Eagles. Naish to Lennon. Can the rookie kick a goal right on half-time siren? Menegola lets it go and gets the goal. He had to make a quick decision, Todd Menegola. The ball could have bounced through very easily for a behind, but it went to the right. It was a real off-break, and it went through for their 7th goal. 7-7 to 6-6. Seconds before half-time, can the Eagles get a reply? Hogg dispossessed. Kemp, this could be the one they want. Kemp goes short. Where's Sumic on a lead, but it's going to be Lewis's mark. And on the half-time siren, which is second, there it is, he could bring them right back. And usually a pretty good kick for goal, Chris Lewis. Hasn't scored so far today. He has now, and maybe only a behind. It is 1 point. Right on the half-time siren, kicked by Chris Lewis, his first score of the day, and Richmond will go in with a lead of exactly 1 goal, 7-7 to 6. 1 goal. They trailed by a goal at quarter time, and the Tigers swing into attack again. This is going to be the vital term, the championship third quarter. Waitman overruns the ball. He might get a second chance here to get it out to Breman, who's been pretty good in front of goals today. He's kicked 2 so far. had a fresh air shot there. Watters diving on top of those two on the ground, and it's going to be a ball up. Chris Waterman the last to get to his feet. So a bounce to take place 30 metres from the Richmond goal. Jackson, who had a great second quarter. Menegola, a magnificent tap. Oh, that a trip by Lees. Got to be a free kick. He played on and kicks it. Brian Lees putting through the first goal of the third quarter, and Richmond lead by 12 points, 8-7 to 6-7.
Well, the umpire a little slow in reaction.
Bounce. Eagles under pressure now. Langdon away to Nichols. He may score a goal. He's right on 50 metres, and he punts towards goal, and a quick reply to the West Coast. Wonderful kick by Trent Nichols, and some exceptional work around the centre. A quick hand pass, and it's amazing how quickly you can score a goal when you take it away from the centre.
Amazing, a few changes too, Ian. Hynes is now in the ruck. He got that ball down, and Djakovic is now at centre half forward. Langdon on his left side. Well, Brennan at centre half. That's Brennan at centre half back.
Some of the interesting stats in the first half. Hynes for West Coast had 7 kicks and 2 handballs. Up towards full forward. They're a chance again. Sumic gathering the crumbs. Metropolis away to Lewis. Lewis kicks it quickly. It's another goal to the West Coast from Lewis. 6-1 handball. Lewis 7 and 2. Laidley 7 and 4. Watters 7 and 3 for West Coast in the first half. Richmond go forward once again. Up towards full forward. Breman can't mark. It slips through his fingers. Awkward ball now for Menegola. Back there is White. He kicks it quickly towards the boundary line, and we'll have a throw-in the left forward pocket for Richmond.
Turnbull's now got the job at half back on Hogg of Richmond.
And a kick coming out of the centre from Stuart Edwards. He's played a little better than I saw him last week. Jackson applies a tackle and the ball spills free. Mainwaring nearly had his hands kicked away by a teammate. Dwayne Lamb, Worsfold at midfield. The skipper goes straight down the sandy centre of the MCG. Turner in or behind. Ultimately gets the ball after Sumic missed the mark. Lewis runs onto it well. Edwards is there again. Gets grabbed. It spills free. It went past free. Keys. Lamb. Laidley has pace. He'll need it to get clear. Awkward kick off the boot and land straight in the arms of Stuart Edwards. Over and turn to McQueen. McQueen from the right half-back flank, and that's a good kick to Naish. Naish on the right centre wing, past Lambert. Waitman gets taken out of the contest. Good bump by Brennan. Watters does the tidying up work for the Eagle. Free kick to Richmond. And it will be taken by Lambert within kicking distance. Let's see what happened here. He's sandwiched.
No, he's pushed to ground, as you can see there, as Watters was picking up the ball. He was pushed to ground.
It's against Kemp.
Yeah, it was Kemp.
Craig Lambert, who hasn't scored a goal today. 45 metres out. Good kick. Seesawing in the third quarter. Edwards tapped down, can't go to a teammate. And trying to get clear is Lees. Not having much success either. Barrich is able to tie them up.
Strong man, Barrich.
And it will be a bounce just wide of the centre circle again.
Richmond 9 kicks to Campbell in the first half, 9 to Hogg. Keys 12 and 1, Jackson 7 and 5, Maxfield 7 and 3, Lambert 7 and 5.
And Edwards wins it again, but once more can't find a teammate. Lees trying to get clear, has a little toe poke. Kemp finally for the Eagles puts the West Coast into attack. Keys at the back. Metropolis spins out and then spins into trouble. He loses the ball. Umpire still calling play on. It's going to be a mark.
Interesting those stats, Ian. Campbell, I reckon a lot of those kicks would have come in the first quarter because we haven't sighted him since.
Keys kicks to centre wing. Opposite number 2 is Kemp. A quick kick back to the 50-metre line. Stuart Edwards in good position.
I'm impressed with this guy. I think with just a little bit more polish, he'll be a good player for Richmond for many years. Now, talking about Campbell, he has the football at right half-back. Kicks it out towards the wing. Jackson in front, Brennan. Laidley there to give him a hand. Close to the boundary line, he's pushed over. And the central umpire indicating that that's all clear as far as he's concerned. So we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing out of side.
Great to see him back playing, Dean Laidley.
Yes, it was a bad injury that he had. It's about 2 seasons ago, isn't it, that he was carried off here on a stretcher. I think they were playing North Melbourne, the West Coast.
He was one of the initial Eagles in that original squad, and really has been hampered throughout his career with the Eagles through injury, but he's a gutsy player.
Boundary throw in, Hynes and Edwards. Comes down towards the half-forward flank area now. Free taps it out towards the boundary line. Safety first. And we'll have another boundary throw in. Eagles edging it just slowly but surely towards their goal. Hynes gets in front, but Edwards, maybe with a height advantage. Barrich, away goes to Hynes. Hynes' kick across his body has been marked. No, Griffiths drops it, but goes after it with determination. Maxfield back there, but another throw-in will take place. So about the 4th boundary throw-in in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and Eagles now within goal-scoring distance.
Yes, right on 50. Djakovic's hand pass effective to Worsfold. Sumich, did he get taken high? He did, and he will get the free kick within kicking distance. He's only about 15 metres from goal, but on his non-preferred side of the ground.
Shouldn't have done that, Scott Turner. Watch this. He gets pushed out. Look, shouldn't have done that.
No, that's pretty blatant, isn't it? Ordinary, or whatever word you like there.
Disguise your frustration a little better than that.
Sumich has kicked 1-1 so far. Distance won't be a problem. Accuracy, we'll wait on the goal umpire. 1 behind. So 1 goal 2 against the name of P. Sumich, and he's just having a little practice kick there. 9-7 to 8-8 at the MCG. So the Tigers off the hook. Turner, that's a better kick. It's almost to the centre circle. You think much better than that. Djakovic, fine mark. He's got in short, and Maxfield chips into the space to take the mark. So a couple of turnovers there. Maxfield out to centre wing. Maybe Edwards was the target there. Jackson was underneath it. Nobody can take the mark. Campbell looks for Griffiths, finds him. Griffiths with a good hand pass. McQueen spears the pass in down towards centre half forward. Menegola overruns the ball. Still might get a chance. Waitman taps it further forward. That was clever. Hogg, always dangerous, close in. Snaps. 1 behind only.
It was interesting, that passage of play. The difference between Menegola and Waitman, the way they went for the ball. Both went for one hand, but Menegola was a little more tentative. Waitman was far more definite and got the ball, and he was the result of getting it to Hogg.
Well, once again, the difference is 1 goal. A seesawing game at the MCG.
Kick in goes to the far side, and a good mark taken from behind by Turnbull. Well, the Tiger supporter's not happy with that, but looked to me as though he had a good grip of it. Handball away to Laidley. Laidley runs in towards the centre and kicks it directly towards goal. No mark taken. Ball comes to the back. Free, under pressure. Gets his kick away. Bouncing wildly towards the boundary line, Mainwaring and Naish, but neither one can get there quickly enough. So we'll have a boundary throw in left half forward for the West Coast. Richmond lead by a goal. They led by a goal at half-time. West Coast led by a goal at quarter-time. Taking it out of the air was Hynes. Worsfold. Back to Lamb. Lamb, fairly ordinary kick in towards centre half forward. Attempted kick off the ground by Barrich. Picked up by Metropolis. Held when he didn't have it, but he's still in there with a chance, Metropolis. In there is Lambert. Desperate stuff for Richmond in their back pocket, and Tony Free quite happy to take it over.
One player down on the boundary line, David Honeybun, doing a lot of stretches. He was replaced partway through, I think, the second quarter, and this man on screen has been doing the ruck job. That's Edwards, so I wonder whether he is injured, Honeybun.
Keys kicks it to a vacant half-back area for the Tigers. Running onto it is Turner, and he's confidently bounced it twice and kicks with the left. Not too bad, about 35 to 40 metres up towards their half-forward area, and Watters, well, not too much talking there between Watters and White, and the ball forced over for a boundary throw.
Good to see full-backs running down the ground like Scott Turner did on that occasion.
Boundary throw in left half forward for Richmond. Jackson, Waitman, Hogg and Kemp. And Kemp will be content to see it out. If in fact it goes out, picked up by Lees. Naish, nearly a screamer. Menegola for his second, this time on the right foot, but he's missed. And only 1 behind. Todd who kicked a left foot snap at the other end, putting through his first behind of the day. And there's David Honeyman on the boundary line.
No doubt about where most of the supporters' loyalties lie here this afternoon, Peter.
You're Sherlock Holmes, Robert.
No, I don't think you need to be.
Turnbull made a lead. Nash chips in front, and great mark.
Tell you what, their confidence is lifted, Richmond.
It's lifting, if it hasn't already. 50 metres.
Really? Yes, that's no, I remembered because he didn't go back on the mark. I wondered that one, yeah.
First 50-metre penalty today, and it could be the ultimate price of a goal.
Peter, I had a discussion with Billy Della before the game about the 50-metre penalty, and this is where I think it's probably wrong. It was brought in to stop players from being dumped and scragged when they've marked or been given a free kick.
Yes, but
now, this 50-metre penalty is quite critical.
But what Laidley did was try and con the umpire as far as where the mark was.
It's a goal. Goal, 13 points the difference here at the MCG. The Tigers' confidence certainly rising. Knights can't get out of the centre. Free kick going to the Eagles to be taken by Chris Lewis. And they need a reply quickly to reassert their authority.
Good kick by Lewis. Holds up in the breeze a little bit. At the back, Sumic can't quite gather it. Goes after it again. Good play. Hooks the kick and hooks it a long, long way to the right. And it's out of bounds on the full.
Trummel is back on for West Coast. I didn't see who actually went off.
Kick to be taken back there by McQueen. And he kicks it to... Oh, Mainwaring high. Couldn't mark. Edwards gathers the awkward ball and kicks it about 15 to 20 metres closer to his goal. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in. So Richmond starting nicely in the third term.
Look at David Honeybun stretched out on the ground. He's laying on his front.
Having a good rest. Free. Kicks the ball up towards centre half forward. No mark. Bouncing ball awkward. In comes Brennan. Gathers it. Watters forced to kick. No, he handballs. Back in towards the centre. Worsfold. Handballs to, or tries to get it towards Turnbull. He's caught. A little slow. Jackson does well. In comes Hynes. Away he goes to Knights. Knights option. Not bad. But slipping over was his Richmond teammate. Now Lewis taps it on. Chance for West Coast. Worsfold, Lewis, tackling good by Richmond. Still frustrating. The ball kicked back. Mainwaring marks. The tempo lifted. Mainwaring's kick in towards the full forward area. No mark. Punched away from Metropolis by McQueen for a boundary throw-in just inside 50 metres.
That bit of play reminiscent of yesterday where those guys, Richmond and Carlton and St Kilda, were doing it all day. It's good to see the umpires letting passages of play like that flow.
Well, a very important period for both sides. Richmond hold an advantage at the moment of 13 points, and they come clear from half-back. Up towards the centre wing. Jackson can't mark. Ball to the rear, where Hynes just allows it to go over, and we'll have a boundary throw-in on centre wing members' side.
Worsfold's been changed down to the back line.
I think he's playing on the ball, isn't he?
He is, but I think that Robert Wiley out there directing play. He's sending him down back.
13 points the difference.
Oh, yes, Kemp on the ball.
And releasing Kemp.
Brennan up high. Lamb, well tackled by Lambert. That's a throw because he flipped it out the back. Jakovic. Edwards races after it. Nash gets collected. Too high. No. Umpire calls play on. Langdon tries to balk. Not successful. Keys. A quick kick. Travels only 20 metres. Campbell marks in front of Chris Lewis.
Richmond playing like winners.
He's gone out wide. A couple of options out there. He's found Turner. Again running up well from full back. White chips in to take the mark in front of Breman. Looks for Kemp. Finds him.
Well done, Waitman.
Just made sure he wasn't going to play on.
There was a player further afield that he could have given the handball to.
Waterman. Back to Kemp. They're going a long way home. Waterman again. Hogg gives chase. Hugs the boundary line with the kick. And Keys.
That's the key in frustrating at half forward. The kick goes away and Richmond mark it.
He stumbled there. I thought he might have injured himself. Marking contest at the back as Jackson. A push, I think. Yes. Be an Eagles free kick. And it'll be taken by Brennan. Brennan at the left half-back flank. To the edge of the square. Hynes. On the run. Very mobile for a big fellow. He's kicked 2 goals so far. Knocked away by Sumic. Wasn't really in the marking contest. Hacked away by Turner. Mainwaring went for the specky. Nichols. Dangerous close to goal. Left footer is going pretty close. And I fancy only one behind.
Certainly lifting his work rate.
It is. So one behind.
It's his third.
Fourth. He's got 1-4, Don.
And there's Honeybun stretching again. He was laying out on his stomach before. I don't know what he was doing, whether he was coming on, going off, or he's injured.
I think that option might be the correct assessment. So Turner will kick in and he goes to the outer side. Again, not a good kick.
Very ordinary. This may go out without anyone touching it. It has. No, it hasn't. Oh, great ground made by Naish. Was it out there? And now he's got it again. Terrific stuff. Little kick in towards half forward. Waitman waits for it. He's caught. Ball runs free. Jackson held when he didn't have it. Play goes on. Watters kicks it back towards half forward. A free kick, and it's going against Langdon to be taken for Richmond by Tony Free. Kicks it in towards the centre. Jackson perhaps could have gone a fraction harder. Will the ball sit for Watters? No. Oh, down goes Knights. Mainwaring, creative handball to Barrage. Barrage, kick it quickly, son. Oh, Lewis is gone. Must be penalised. Oh, and he's going to be
I agree with that.
Too high.
I agree with that.
He's caught with the footy.
You're too high.
Well, West Coast a little fortunate. And Lewis showing his frustration. Lead, will you, lead? And eventually he gets one from Sumic, who marks at centre-half forward. And he's screaming Lewis at his teammates.
There's the free kick. It's
Ducked
too
his
high.
head. Ducked his head.
And I agree with Peter. I think that he was very fortunate, Chris Lewis.
And the emergency umpire has gone out and spoken to John Worsfold too. So Worsfold might have been
Peos
involved.
on the ground. They've made another change, West Coast.
And a little behind the play.
Sumic will nearly kick the distance from here. Just on the 50-metre line, he runs close to the man on the mark. And he hooks the kick. And in the back pocket, the mark is taken by Keys.
Terry Keys doing well now. Dropped a couple of marks at crucial stages early, but he's come back and playing with a lot more confidence. Former Collingwood player, kicks to the member stand side. Maxfield, he's got a lot of pace, this fellow, and I think a lot of ability. Close to the boundary line, and the long kick kicks the position at half forward. Jackson tries to get the ball back, or drags it underneath him. Interesting decision.
Now, what are the Richmond supporters going berserk for there?
Don't know.
It was a line ball, wasn't it?
I think if Brennan had held his jumper, he could have been penalised.
Tony Free still mouthing off to the umpire about that free kick earlier. He's got the job on Lewis. There's Free.
Jakovic getting in front, knocked away by Brennan, but straight to Waitman, the veteran, into the goal square, or just about. Breman has taken the mark. He lit out well from the goal square, but a kick from about 35 metres.
Well, West Coast changing their rucks. Hynes and Jakovic. Hynes seems to be going back to centre-half forward. That's a big ask if they're changing there. A good lead by Breman. He's well within kicking distance.
He's kicked 2-2 so far today, Todd Breman.
Don't worry about the distance.
He's a magnificent kick, isn't he?
Kick number 8 for Breman. Oh, look at that. No doubt about it, he's drilled it. 3 goals to his tally. Richmond playing with a bit of confidence now. Free out of the centre. No. He might get a second chance, or is it going to be Jakovic? The ball hustled out towards the edge of the square. Free taken down by Lewis. Free kick. And Tony Free finally getting it, much to the delight of the fans. Lewis stands the mark. Mainwaring in position, could have taken the mark. Lambert taps it wide, picked up by Worsfold.
And he plays on quickly, Johnny Worsfold. Up towards half forward. Langdon punched away. Nichols a chance. Hasn't got much on that right side of his body. Very quickly gets around and kicks it with his left foot up towards the forward pocket. Big high flyer was Sumic. Round onto that left foot. He hooks the kick. This may bounce through. No. It sits in the square for Turner. He got back pretty quickly, Scott Turner. And he clears for Richmond to the far side, where Naish has made a lot of space for himself. Kemp. Handball over the top. Campbell. Ever so casually. Back to Naish. Richmond could get something going here. Handball in near the centre. Knights. Over the top. Free. Fumbles. Maybe critical. Short pass is good. And Breman marks in front of his face in much the same position as his previous shot for goal, where he made no mistake.
Here's the pass of Free. Could have mucked it up. And Breman. He reminds me very much, Breman, of Michael Moncrief, who used to play at Hawthorn. He was a beautiful kick for goal too.
Breman's kick. It's pretty close. It may have missed to the left, I think. 3 goals, 3 to Todd Breman. And 11-10 plays 8-9.
We've just found out from Tim Watson that Honeybun is not injured. He's not injured, so that's interesting.
Kicking in, Chris Waterman for the West Coast, and he goes pretty well straight up the ground.
Good kick by Waterman. Lands it inside the centre square. This is going to be a most important possession here. And it goes to the West Coast Eagles, Mainwaring. And good kick to Paul Peos. And he won't have any trouble kicking the distance from there.
One earlier, Paul Peos, from 50 metres in exactly the same position as far as the angle goes. He's much closer on this occasion.
11-10 to 8-9 at the moment.
Gee, they need this.
They certainly do. Peos from 30 metres.
Good kick.
Gets the goal. So he's warming up on the boundary line and could come back on shortly. Waitman, clean possession at half forward. Onto Naish. Oh, high kick. A real up and under job. Menegola did well to get a fingernail to it. Breman farms out the hand pass. Jackson, Lambert from a standing start, kicks into the square. Ball hits the deck. Plenty of Eagles there. Watters should be able to gather on the run, and he does. He's fast. He'll get clear of Menegola, who's taken out of it with a good shepherd. But he's kicked out of bounds on the full.
Oh, unbelievable.
Free kick. Well, he really didn't have any options down the ground either, did he? He could have gone to a vacant
Well, why
wing.
don't you kick 40 metres or 50 metres
there was
further
no one
down
there,
when
I
there's no one
suppose.
there? Well, it's better than kicking out of bounds and giving a free kick away, isn't it?
Hogg from Naish. But Jeff Hogg right on the boundary line. Pretty important kick, this one.
The reason I say that, he wasn't under any pressure, Scott Watters. There was a terrific shepherd, gave him the space, straight out of bounds on the full.
And Hogg looking for options. He's kicked 2-1 so far today.
Laidley about to come back on for West Coast.
Kick number 11 for Jeff Hogg. Gee, it's not bad. It's a goal. He's drilled it. Hogg gets his third. Magnificent goal from right on 50 on the boundary line. And that's one of the best goals you'll see today. 12-10 to 9-9.
Ground for West Coast. They're in trouble now. They must get the next 2 goals. Knights shrugs the tackle, kicks it straight towards the goal front. Oh, jumping early, but taking the mark in front was Waterman. And the Richmond player may have been Jackson too early. Waterman marks and kicks it out towards centre-half back. Oh, Metropolis drops it. Knights has got the footy underneath. Not penalties. And the bounce will take place left half forward.
Waitman apparently about to come off. Honeybun to come on, so that's an interesting change.
And the small coming off, the tall going on. Lees, handball over the top. Chance here for White. Kicks it across his body. Nichols marks. They must play on. A little bit more of this, and they've got some chance of recovering. Lamb over the top. Too far for Jakovic, but the ball bounced kindly for him. His kick towards full forward, getting back and judging it better than anybody was Turner.
Doing well in the third quarter, Scott Turner.
Yes, he did well last week too, Don. Good vision. He's found McQueen out there, and McQueen beautifully directed past to Lambert. Awkward looking kick off the boot. Naish, good shepherd applied by Campbell. Can he go from right on 50? Goes for the pass. Well, it looked like a pass.
Well, the reason he had to go for goal, he looked in towards the centre. There was nobody there from Richmond. Breman was leading to the pocket. There were only West Coast guys in front of goal, so he really only had the option of going goalward.
Frank Wilkes, I think we saw their former opposition leader here in Victoria. And we had a quick look at him. Breman, can he make something of this? The 2 number 14s collide. His opponent was Brennan. Hogg runs at the ball, and it's out of bounds. It bounces just inside the line.
Terrific stuff by Worsfold.
That's the third time Worsfold's copped him today, actually. To see this on replay. Always a tough man, Worsfold. Hogg having the head down, going after the ball.
Didn't come up too well after that. Knights tackled by the other blonde in Dean Kemp. The 2 lookalikes, and Jeff Hogg, I think, will be pretty happy to see the 3/4 time siren. Looks a little groggy, doesn't he? Boundary throw in. Lambert just gets out the hand pass. 3 likewise. Waterman over the top.
He should go off, Hogg. He's like a boxer that's been knocked out. Look at the eye. Yes, the doctor looking at the eyes. asking him what the score is.
And what ground he's at. Jackson in front, down to free. A quick kick. Breman in front. Good gather.
Oh, well.
Good hand pass. Campbell pushed off balance by Kemp as he kicks and out of bounds on the full. So a free kick to the Eagles in the right back pocket.
Well done by Kemp.
Gee, they're under some pressure though, aren't they? Finding it difficult to score goals and even more difficult to contain the Tigers in their forward line. Watters, a wide kick. Lamb gets his foot to the ball just inside. Did he? No, he didn't. And so a boundary throw will take place on centre wing.
Sumich seems to be playing now across the half-forward line. Langdon's definitely at full forward. He's in the goal square, but Sumich up around the 50-metre line.
12-11 plays 9-9. Difference 20 points in favour of the Tigers. Close to three-quarter time. So if the West Coast are to get out of this game, they'll need a pretty big effort in the last term. Can Watters get them to within goal-scoring distance before three-quarter time? And what an excellent mark taken by Griffiths, and that's the last chance the West Coast will have to score in this third quarter. Away goes Maxfield. Little kick, Lennon. Back to the favoured side of Maxfield. His kick gets the ball up towards the wing. Keys. Perhaps Knights would have been better off making a little bit of a path for Keys there, but the ball forced over for a boundary throw-in. So there's the three-quarter time siren. And at three-quarter time, we see the Tigers with a 20-point advantage. They're 12-11, West Coast are 9-9.
The MCG in round 6, Richmond leading the West Coast Eagles by 20 points. Honeybun with the first tap out. Getting it out of the centre, most important. Turnbull looks for and finds Scott Watters on the run at right centre wing. Barrich can't take it. Langdon playing it full forward. Centering kick from him. Oh, Nichols can't quite take the mark. They still might get the goal. Peos has hit the post.
Actually, that was good play by Langdon. Then he spotted it into the centre, and Nichols, I suppose, should have taken that. They're difficult to take overhead marks when you've got a stretch, but really, I think he could have made a better effort, Scott Nichols.
Turner,
I should say, Trent Nichols.
Kicks in well. A short pass. Honeybun will get it back. Looks for Griffiths, and Griffiths runs out of room. Started on the bench, Stuart Griffiths. Boundary throw-in. Speaking of the bench, David Honeybun on screen there. He spent a lot of time on the bench this afternoon, or just next to it. A little bit of a push out there. The umpire says play on. And the Eagles will do just that. Watters to Laidley. Back to Mainwaring, who unaccountably fumbles, but that's the pressure applied by Richmond, and Mainwaring streams around the boundary line, looks for Langdon, can't find him. Turner read it better, and Scott Turner chips in to take the good mark.
Watters playing ruck rover or centre because he's up around midfield now.
Turner, it's awkward, kicks long this time. Knight's the target, couldn't take it. The Eagles have got backed up support in Lewis, and it will be a ball up on the outer wing. Lewis and Knights will be the last to get it. Watters. Nichols right on the boundary line with a centering kick 2-on-1 in favour of Richmond, and Turner again ducking back well to take the mark. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Here's Campbell. Or was it Lennon streaming out of defence?
Right the first time.
Campbell, was it? They look a little bit alike. Laidley runs into trouble, throws the ball one-handed. Lamb over the head of Peos. Lewis made good position, and he'll take the free kick. Long looping hand pass to Watters.
Good pass.
Langdon on the chest and lace up. Karl Langdon within kicking distance.
Actually, Scott Watters has done a pretty good job for the Eagles. He was given the job to tag Waitman. Waitman now on the bench, and Watters becoming a creative player.
Well, Waitman did get a hefty knock earlier in the game. Taking the wind out of his sails. Langdon's shot at goal is good, or has he missed it? It's only 1 point. So Karl Langdon has to be content with a minor score.
Well, they've caught up in the behinds department. Now they've just got to kick 4 goals to win the game if they can keep Richmond goalless. It's a big ask in the last quarter of a game of football Kick in, goes towards half-back. Good effort, Honeybun. Marks the ball, handballs away to Free. Free kicks blindly to half-forward. No mark taken back there. Brennan recovers first. Little pass is good. Laidley marks between half-back and centre wing. Runs on, short kick, a little too high. Richmond have got the numbers back there. We're Free. Quickly kicks back towards half-forward. Kemp there to help out. Short kick, Waterman. Handball. They've been told to play on, I'd say, on all occasions. Jakovic. Kick is marked by Barrich. He plays on. Handball. Lamb running onto it. Kick into the pocket. Langdon can't mark. Can't control it. Taps it to his own advantage. Goes for goal. Smothered. Griffiths. Keys was out of bounds. The ball was in. Keys kicks it back to half-back. And Richmond clear the ball magnificently.
David Honeybun should be fresh, having spent a lot of time on the bench this afternoon, but his kick is a poor one. And the Eagles will go forward through Brennan after it came down there from Waterman, doing all the attacking so far in the final quarter of the West Coast. This is Campbell. He'll relay it to Griffiths. Bad hand pass to Maxfield. The ball sits okay for him in the end, and he'll steady on his own defensive 50-metre line. Kicks to Honeybun. Couldn't take the mark in that marking contest. Naish held. Could get a free kick. No, says the umpire. Laidley tracks the ball.
That didn't go out.
Well, he was out.
And the ball stayed in.
Boundary umpire didn't think so. Let's take
We
a look.
won't enter into that one. It was terribly close.
It was a real line ball, literally, wasn't it? Lewis, a tap on. Almost went to Free. And it's tied up. Bounce will take place in front of the interchange area on centre wing.
Doesn't look good for the West Coast. You get that feeling they're just not in top gear. Richmond have got the smell of victory and they're playing accordingly. Maybe a couple of goals could change the tone for West Coast.
Certainly would. Not out of it yet by any stretch of the imagination. Jackson has played a good game today, especially in the first half. Dean Kemp can't control it. It's out of bounds once more. And the boundary umpire will throw it in the middle of the interchange area. Jackson behind.
No.
Free
shoulder,
kick.
yeah,
West
fair
Coast.
enough. That's fair enough.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes they play those and sometimes they don't.
On
Don.
the shoulder. Yeah,
Brennan.
I agree with you.
Good punch away by Keys, but it goes straight to Jakovic. He kicks the ball around his body. Langdon on a lead.
He's just too quick for Scott Turner. That's Scott Turner's biggest problem. Not quick enough off the mark, but if he can run up the ground as he did in the third quarter, a good player. But Langdon has got away from him on 3 occasions in this last quarter.
Must kick this, Peter, if they're to win the game.
Well within kicking distance, Karl Langdon. He's put that one through without any mistake at all. Eagles certainly back in it, with Langdon making a difference at full forward. He's kicked 2 goals, 1. Kemp out of the centre, almost follows it up well. Can't get a boot to it. He'll get a second chance here. Spoons it out to Lewis. On to Mainwaring. Could be another one here. 45 metres out. Goal umpire hasn't moved. It is. It's there. It's a contest. The Eagles certainly playing with a lot of heart now as Mainwaring puts through his first goal. There's only a goal in it.
Well, we'll just see what type of spur this is going to make for the West Coast and what Richmond are going to do, because it's a critical time for both sides here. Lewis across to Mainwaring, and Mainwaring just getting his kick as Keys comes in from his left. So 2 quick goals for the West Coast. Can that be the spur that they're all in centre they're looking for?
Well, it was a good effort by Lewis. He could have had a real ping at it, but gave Mainwaring the space. So very critical breaks from the centre now in the last term. Lewis's little kick off the ground. Mainwaring runs onto it, taps it to his own advantage. Chipping in as Nichols, around onto the left foot. The kick was smothered. Lambert. Handball goes further back to Keys. Keys a sweeping hand pass. Lees is the player who was the target. Away to Edwards. Edwards now. A long kick towards centre half forward. Both players running underneath it. At the back, Waterman. Richmond fans believing a little push out. Waterman goes for the boundary line.
What about that handball by Craig Lambert when he got it out of the centre to start play? Really, he was quick with his hands.
Ruckman gather in the left half-forward flank region for the Tigers. Honeybun tries to get it down to Lambert. Chance here for Campbell. Kick across his body. No mark taken. A real struggle for possession now. And it could be against Jakovic. No. Richmond supporters appealing for it. The umpire decides on a bounce. about 40 metres from the Richmond goal.
Good play by Jackson to hold the ball down on the Richmond forward line.
Tigers desperately need a goal to halt the forward thrust of the Eagles. Watters does well. Gets his foot to the ball, kicks it to the wing. Knights around onto the right side, then gets back to his favoured left foot. High towards half forward. And a good mark taken by Jackson. He could be just the man that could lift the Tigers.
They need him firing because he started well. Played an excellent first half. Wasn't quite so dominant in the third term. Too far out to score. Tried the torpedo punt. Honeybutt in the middle. Couldn't take the mark. Mainwaring running well. Sort of get the impression if the Eagles can get the next goal, they'll be able to go on and win this. But if Richmond's steady, they'll be in with a real chance to stay there. Lennon's kick up towards full forward. Two West Coast Eagles almost spoiled each other. Naish, was he tripped? And the Eagles were able to once again close the ball up, and the bounce will take place about 35 metres out from goal. Richmond yet to score a major in the final term. Ball tapped out to Mainwaring, off the ground in front of the members' stand in the right forward pocket for the Tigers, and another boundary throw in. It was 20 points the difference at the final change, but the West Coast have been able to reduce that now to 1 goal. Worsfold, will he get there first? He will, in front of Breman. Out of bounds. Yeah, very hard to tell from here.
Fortunate for Richmond, at least play starts in their left forward pocket.
Yes, the Eagles were going to clear that. There's going to be Jackson and Jakovic. Honeybun there as well. Brennan over the top. White's got a finger on it. So is Honeybun, and it'll be a bounce. A real important bounce this for Richmond.
Both sides.
Both sides, yes, true. Very crowded. Kemper knock on. Knights tries to knock it back to Jackson. Turnbull off the ground. Lewis is running. Jackson's there with him. Lewis keeps it in play. Tried to find Nichols. Griffiths is there. He fell over at the wrong time. Mainwaring covering more ground than Burke and Wills in the final term. Peos a high kick to centre half forward.
Marking contest and getting back and taking a finger tipper was Metropolis. Play on. Up towards full forward. Now what's happened here? The umpire back at near the centre is saying that the free kick should go back to centre wing, is he? Or Metropolis going back to kick over the man on the mark? Well,
all that
only the umpires know what's going on.
Honeybun has come off. He's laying down on the ground exhausted, and Waitman's come back on.
Well, Metropolis now. Short kick, player on his own, Jakovic. Ooh, bad marking there by Richmond in a close game. Jakovic, who kicked the ball to Langdon for a goal earlier in the quarter, got terrific distance. So I think this fellow here, he's a big boy, should be able to kick the distance from 50 metres. Lovely high drop punt kick. It is touched right on the line, is it? No, it's a goal.
Stagnating in the final quarter. Jakovic up to full forward again. Langdon gets front position. Peos spins out. Keys knocks the ball forward, and that means the Eagles are in front. So they've scored 21 points to 0 so far in this quarter. And with 14 minutes to go, David Honeybun sitting on the boundary line. Position he spent most of the afternoon, it would seem.
Exactly right.
Turner will kick in. The Eagles looking much the better side in the final quarter. The Tigers haven't looked like scoring. Jakovic punches clear again. Lamb a knock on. Richmond player getting ridden into the ground down there, I think was Lennon. Yes, it is.
And a player that they're missing, Richmond, in that third quarter, who was so good, was Naish.
Just need to lift to get back into it. Jakovic punches well clear. Free overruns it. Might give Lewis the opportunity. Hynes overran it as well. Keys. Breman was the high flyer. Lamb held up. Baller, says the umpire. Bounce to take place on centre wing. 1 point the difference in favour of the West Coast Eagles. Started the last quarter 20 points behind. And managed to peg back The difference, Djakovic again, jumping high. Lambert taken out of it, still got the football. Watters, elusive at half forward. Where's Langdon? In front, Turner behind, takes a good mark.
Well done, he's played a fair game, hasn't he?
Yes, in the third quarter, but Langdon's letting the ball on 3 occasions earlier prior to that mark.
Oh, bad kick. Mainwaring streams into an open goal. Bang goes Mainwaring, but he's missed a sitter. And that makes the difference, 2 points. Well, a real let-off for the Tigers.
How do you reckon Scott Turner's heart was beating as Mainwaring was belting in towards goal?
It's one part of his game, I guess, Donny needs to work on his kicking.
Well, that was just he can kick the ball a long way. It's just the direction that leads astray on occasion. See, this ball will go a fair way.
Yes, well outside 50 metres. Out there, Keys flies high, but Djakovic, who's doing well for the Eagles, leading from the front as the big, strong ruckman should. And the ball forced out.
Richmond have got Breman up across the half-forward line now. Hogg's playing in the goal square. They've got Waitman at most centre half-forward, I suppose, or a flank.
Hynes gets to the front. Ball left behind. Chance for Nichols. He's well tackled. Lambert has the football. Djakovic the tackler, or Barrich is it? And Barrich gets up quickly. So we'll have a ball up just inside 50 metres. Chance for the Eagles. They lead at the moment by 2 points. Real struggle for Richmond now. Keys, sneaky little hand pass. Edwards. Lambert must have heard the voice out the back. Campbell over the top. Breman, little slow. Edwards, just as slow. Eagles lifting. Mainwaring. Chance for Breman. He taps it to his own advantage. Lambert in there to help. Handball goes over the top. Waitman swamped. Watters, free kick to the captain. Richmond. Dale Waitman will take it. Centre wing, far side.
Bremen are now playing on the ball. Knights has gone on the half-forward flank, changing with Bremen.
And Waitman with that lovely balk gets it to Naish. Badly directed kick again.
Shocking.
And Worsfold chipping in to take the timely mark. So really breaking down across the half-forward line this quarter, Richmond. No addition to their three-quarter time tally. Honeybun. No, it's not Honeybun, it's Edwards. Another tall blonde who's done a lot of the ruck work today with Honeybun on the sideline. Lewis edged out of that contest. That must be a free kick.
Yes, Tony Francis not free, realising what he had done. It's a sign of frustration in his face then.
Wearing Francis Burke's old number.
Who is chairman of selectors at Richmond at the moment?
Chris Lewis from the right half-back flank. Transferring play to the centre wing. Big pack of players down there, gathered by Lambert. Quick kick by Edwards. Onto the edge of the square. Oh, Knight's mark, or free kick. Free kick it is. He's paid. Too high. He just held it anyway, didn't he?
I'd agree with you.
Knights from the edge of the square. Richmond badly need a goal here. Turnbull in front. Taps down to the advantage, or punches down to the advantage of Kemp. That might be out of bounds on the full. It's pretty close to it.
So that's a big full forward line Richmond have got. They've got Hogg, Menangola and Jackson.
Edwards
all in the goal square.
Speaking of talls, or almost Menangola. Waitman, Kemp, sandwich, tries to get it to Knights. The Eagles making a wall of players. It's very hard to get through there. Their defence has really tightened up in this last quarter. And again, it will be a bounce inside 50, 40 metres out from Richmond's goal. 9.5 minutes left in the match. 2 points the difference in favour of West Coast.
And 17,500 fans here today to watch a pretty interesting game. Looks as though it's going to go right down to the last minute or two. Eagles lead by 2 points. Kemp gets the ball out.
Oh.
And White goes for the boundary line.
Well, that was deliberate, but he let it go from about 40 metres from the boundary line. So the umpire, I don't suppose, in that situation can penalise him, but his intent was only for the boundary line.
Well, he'd be a bit toey, I think. Anyone who makes a mistake in these last few minutes to give the opposition an advantage. There's a free kick.
He didn't move it on.
Going to the Eagles, maybe against Craig Lambert or Jackson.
Jackson's done that a few times, I think. Well, I know he has. It's about time he was pinged.
And it's going to Turnbull. Yes, Jackson has the footy underneath.
Now he's held it in. That's the third occasion he's done it.
Pretty hard to get rid of it, though, isn't it? Hynes marks. Free kick to Richmond. Push in the back. And it'll go to McQueen. So the Tigers still battling it right out. Great to see. Who can snatch victory in the dying minutes of the game? Up towards half forward, Kemp caught with the footy, gets the kick out. Watters is going to get caught, but he gets the handball away to Laidley. Laidley at half back, goes very, very short. Still the ball in the field of play. Can Keys get it back to his teammate in Lambert? No. Laidley comes in and makes sure that the boundary umpire has to earn just a few more cents this afternoon.
Centre wingers the throw in, just on Richmond's attacking side of centre. It comes down to Lees, kicks it up to Knights. Needs support there. Waitman gives it to him. Waitman only has his trousers dragged off. Lewis is there. Menegola a tap on. Mainwaring's played a magnificent last quarter for the West Coast Eagles. And look at that disposal. Jakovic doesn't let him down marking on centre wing. The Eagles have answered the challenge. Whether they win or lose, I think Nick Malthouse would be pleased with their last quarter effort. Certainly Edwards punches down. Naish, who is not Naish, but Nichols has been booed every time he's been near the ball today.
If the West Coast lose, I don't think Mick would be very happy at all.
I said with their effort.
If you get this close, you've got to win the game.
True, good point. Keys from Lambert. And chipping it to take it for the West Coast Eagles.
Play on.
Right, it is a play on call. Barrett's lost it. Peos. Possession's clearly in favour of the Eagles in the last quarter, and Dwayne Lamb taking the mark in front of his former teammate Todd Breman. Lamb possibly too far out to score. He's going to give it a good roost though. Just about into the goal square. Marking contest down there. McQueen.
Well done. Good little tap. Saw that guy.
And Turner with a long clearing kick this time.
Yeah, but it's 1-on-2. The Eagles advantage. And a good mark taken out there by Waterman. And Scott Turner perhaps the wrong option. The Eagles having the numbers out there on the far wing.
Bremen now playing on Mainwaring on a wing.
Waterman. Long kick in towards a forward pocket area. Ball comes to the back. Important possession here. Edwards just taps it behind himself. Not bad. Bremen goes to Campbell. Campbell's kick. Pretty ordinary. Laidley. Can he kick the goal? This will make it awful. It's a goal to the Eagles. Richmond haven't given up. Here goes Naish from the centre. Kicks it long in towards full forward. No mark taken. Can the Tigers get this? Knights has ridden into the ground. Kemp gets back quickly. Handball over the top to White. Eagles clear quite comfortably in the finish. Bit of pressure there.
Brennan's hurt himself. He's signalling for the trainers.
Jakovic's kick wide to the wing. Mainwaring. Very, very agile and adept with his footwork. Kick towards half forward. No mark taken. Swooping on it was Peos. Turner under pressure. Peos's kick to the goal front. Metropolis has a chance. Oh, down goes Metropolis. Tries to get it to Langdon. Away goes Lambert. Lambert got no one to kick to, so he kicks to the open spaces of the wing. Lees must take possession. He does. Kicks it towards the centre wing position. Knights bounces kindly for him. He can't quite control it. And he's tripped. Free kick to Matthew Knights.
Brennan seems to be all right. He's either dislocated a hand or hit a nerve in the left arm.
Powell coming on for Lambert. Hogg flies from behind. Waitman, can he get a goal? He gives it to Free. Snapshot. He's got the goal. Richmond's first score in the final quarter, and the points in the last quarter. Will they get the 4 points, though? A most important possession here to try to get it out of the centre. Laidley, is he going to be the one to do it? No, it's a Richmond ball. It's Campbell. Out the right half forward. The boundary line may be too close. In fact, it is too close. So we'll see a throw in. Worsfold quite content to do the honours there. And we've got just under 4 minutes left in the match. Plenty of time for both sides to get a goal.
West Coast by 2 points. Kick. Jackson takes it out of the boundary throw-in, and it's thumped back over for a boundary throw-in once again.
Jackson should have been penalised on occasion. He used his hands to push out, turnbull the opponent in the ruck.
Again, the two same players go for the ruck knockout. Ball comes to the front. Gathered by Waterman. He was out of bounds.
Yes, he was.
And the umpire only a matter of 4 or 5 metres from that incident. So a throw-in will take place quite near the players' interchange
area. It's the little things that count. Like Jackson was caught behind Turnbull on that ruck throw, and he's got to get in front if you want to, or Turnbull likewise.
Big punch from behind. Down on the ground, Naish. Laidley takes it over. Seconds ticking away for Richmond. They've got to get the ball forward and kick a goal. We're now into time on in the last quarter. There's the time left. 3 and a bit minutes. Comes towards Naish. Jackson. Desperate stuff by Nichols. Jakovic. Now Lamb. Kicks the Eagles into their forward half. Back there, no mark taken by Keys. Goes through to the rear. And free with the footy as it goes over for a boundary throw in left half forward for the West Coast. So they're well within scoring distance now, the Eagles. Can they get a goal? A real struggle. The ball goes back towards centre half forward. Metropolis. Shot for goal. May bounce through. Bouncing. Right on the line. It's taken over. No, Peos caught. Langdon will kick it. Gets the goal. Quite a critical goal, that one. Third one for Karl Langdon. And he's pretty excited about it. The Eagles lead by 8 points.
What about that hit out from Edwards? He hit it on the attacking side of the goal of the pack. I'm sure it was Edwards, and the ball's finished up down in the West Coast pocket. You don't hit the ball back towards the opposition goals on a boundary throw-in like that, especially on half-back flank. Good play by Langdon. He's certainly fired up. A lot of endeavour down there on that occasion.
Karl Langdon's made a difference in the last quarter. He's kicked 2 goals. He has 3 for the match. Naish out of the centre, inside 50 now for Richmond. They've got to get 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. A tall order. They've got only 1 from 1 scoring shot in the final quarter. But an excellent quarter by the Eagles. They trailed by 20 points at the final change. And I guess a little bit of experience counting here as the clock ticks down. The first visit to the MCG this year. And it looks as though now it will result in a win. Naish, nice sidestep. Kicks from a standing start inside 50. But White succeeds in punching the ball over the boundary line to gain a few seconds. And maybe a couple of metres for his side. In a case of maybe so near yet so far for Richmond this afternoon. Kemp kicks across his body. Back to the centre wing position. And again, this time, it's Barrett to take the ball over the boundary line.
Play the percentages now with an advantage, and we're nearly into the last minute. Big ask for Richmond.
Well, just about impossible now. I think perhaps the injury to Hogg didn't help them. He played full forward this quarter. Naish out to Maxfield. And Breman's had to play up the ground. Hogg got a hefty knock late in the third quarter. Powell, who's pretty fresh, can he kick a goal? No, he can't.
He's missed.
Brennan, good tackle. Powell just about throws it away. Minagola, a knock-off.
Oh, well done.
Wait for a goal. So still the Tigers come. And Waitman putting through his first score of the afternoon. Just 2 points the difference. Less than a minute to go in the match.
Well, that was volleyball, wasn't it? What's this? Powell gets it across. Not on that occasion, but will now. There's the high handball. Minagola across to Hogg. Oh. What can they do? Less than a minute left.
They must win the ball out of the centre, Don.
2 points. What difference?
Very critical now, this centre break. It's been a great struggle by both sides all day. 14-13, 14-11. Richmond have got it. Away goes Griffiths. This marking contest. Richmond, Hogg, off the ground. It's bouncing close. It's through for a behind. The difference, 1 point in favour of the Eagles.
How much time left? 39 seconds.
Are you excited, Donny?
Oh,
the 17,500 fans here at the MCG are on the edge of their seats. The Eagles are kicking in towards this near side. The mark, no, it's punched away from Naish by Jakovic. And still a boundary throw in. 50 metres from the Richmond goal. And the Eagles lead by 1 point.
Less than half a minute to go, so from this boundary throw-in, the Tigers must go forward if they can. Jackson gives it to Waitman. He gets swamped.
No, he's his own man. His own man did it.
He's still swamped, whoever did it.
He's not too fit either, is he? Look at the little fella.
And time ticking down. It's not going to help Richmond. The siren almost imminent. They must get a... No chance. There it is. So a fantastic finish. And the West Coast Eagles have run out winners in another thriller. Chris Mainwaring played a magnificent game in the last quarter. Our second 1 point win of the round. Essendon getting up yesterday on this same ground by 1 point from Melbourne, and today it was the Eagles over Richmond.
You don't see that too often. Look at them talking at centre-half forward. Breman and Mainwaring, as soon as the siren rang, they both stood there like a casual talk in the paddock or in the street, hands on hips.
Well, obviously Todd Breman is a very popular young man because all the Eagles players are going to him to shake him by the hand. Richmond a little bit stiff, but the Eagles, to their credit, they trailed, what, Peter, by 20 points, didn't they, at three-quarter time?
Yes, Robert.
And they've got up and won the game, and it's a credit to them to take the points.
Let's go down to Tim Watson. He's got Peter Sumich with him.
Well, Peter, you came off at three-quarter time. Were you injured?
Well, I've got a bit of an ankle, but, you know, Mick probably changed me full forward, put Karl Langdon there, and it paid off.
Are you finding it hard? You had a bit of a layoff at the start of the season. Are you finding it hard to find your form after that break?
Oh, yeah, I'm just finding a little bit of fitness slowly, and probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully I'll get that back.
It was a second close game for the Eagles in a week. The boys are making it a little bit hard for themselves.
Oh, yeah, we're not probably playing as well as we can, but to come away with the 4 points today was tremendous, and hopefully this will turn the corner for us.
Are you missing, you've got a number of players out, are you missing those players?
Oh, for sure. You know, we've got quality players out. Craig Turley, Guy McKenna, Brett Heady, you know, they're class players. So, you know, they're a big part of our side, and hopefully they'll be back in the next few weeks. And
you're on the road again for the 3rd week in a row, next week down to Hobart. It must be a bit strange to play all those away from home games.
Oh, yeah, 3 weeks on the road's hard, and next week's going to be really hard for us, especially in Tasmania. We haven't played there yet, so it's going to be a real hard one, and Fisher are playing really well.
We just had a weather report in before. There's a headwind, and the trip across the Nullarbor is going to take you 8 hours to get home. Are you happy with that?
Not really, mate, but, you know, we've had worse, and we'll just have to put up with it again.
OK, thanks, Peter.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Tim. 8 hours.
8 hours?
The comedian that Tim Watson is.
Is that attempted humour, is it?
8 hours. I could walk with it 8 hours.
No, I think he might have been thinking there were going to be a few Carlton drafts sunk on the plane on the way home. But
I think that's the message across. All right, so repeating the score, a 1-point win to the West Coast Eagles, 2 one-pointers on the same ground in consecutive days. You wouldn't get that too often. 14-13 to 14-12, and that's